My beloved child, stop right here. Do not scroll past this moment. I need you to pause where you are and breathe. You did not stumble upon this message by pure chance. The algorithm of this world did not bring you here by accident. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your eyes to these exact words today. Give me just a few minutes of your time, and I promise you will not regret staying. Something shifted in the unseen realm the moment you stopped moving. I am stepping into your atmosphere right now because your heart is tired. You have been carrying a heavy weight in silence for far too long. I see the quiet battles you fight when nobody else is watching. You have been praying for answers that seem to be delayed month after month. And you have wondered if I still hear the whispers of your soul in the dark. I hear every single word. I count every single tear. Do not walk away now, because what I am about to speak over your life will completely redefine the way you see your future. I know how hard it has been for you lately. You watch the world around you move at a rapid pace. You see others stepping into their blessings, while you remain in the exact same place. You celebrate their victories with a genuine heart, but inside, a quiet pain lingers. You look at your own life and feel a subtle panic rising in your chest. You ask yourself why every single step forward feels so heavy and exhausting. And in the quiet moments of the night, you whisper the question you are almost too tired to speak aloud. You ask me if you arrived late to your own destiny. You wonder if you somehow missed your season because of past mistakes or wrong turns. You look at your age, your bank account, and your unanswered prayers, and you feel a deep sense of discouragement. You feel as though everyone else received the map while you were left wandering in the fog. My child, look at me right now. Let your shoulders drop, and let your mind stop racing for just this second. I am stepping into your day to break that terrible lie before it steals any more of your peace. I see the fatigue that has settled deep inside your bones. It is not just physical tiredness that a good night of sleep can fix. It is soul exhaustion. You are tired of being the strong one for everyone else in your life. You smile for your friends, you encourage your family, and you hold everything together with a brave face. But when the door closes and the room goes quiet, you feel entirely hollow inside. You sit on the edge of your bed and let the heavy silence consume you. I saw you in those hidden moments, and I held your heart when it felt ready to break. If you feel my presence in your room right now, take a single step of agreement with me. Write the words, "I trust your timing," in the comments below. Let those words be a holy anchor for your spirit as I continue to speak to you. By typing those words, you are telling your anxious mind that you choose trust over fear today. You are declaring that you are ready to receive the truth that will set your heart free. Breathe deeply, my beloved child, because the story of your life is not over. You have lived as a silent survivor for years. You learned early in life that you had to rely on your own strength to stay safe. When others failed you, you built high walls around your heart to protect yourself from getting hurt again. You told yourself that if you worked harder, prayed longer, and controlled every detail, you could guarantee your own breakthrough. But my child, that heavy burden was never meant for your shoulders to carry alone. You were not created to survive in a constant state of defense and exhaustion. The enemy has used comparison as a silent weapon against your soul. He shows you the highlighted moments of others to convince you that you are falling behind. He whispers that time is running out and that your prayers have fallen on deaf ears. He wants you to believe that the silence of heaven is proof of my rejection. But hear me with the deepest place of your heart today. Silence is not rejection. Silence is often the sacred workshop where I am crafting your greatest deliverance. Do not let the thief give meaning to my silence. Listen to me carefully right now. You are not late. You are on time. What you have called a painful delay in your life has actually been my divine protection. You begged me to open doors that looked perfect to your human eyes, but I saw what was waiting behind them. I saw the hidden traps that would have broken your spirit. I saw the people who would have drained your light. And because I love you with an everlasting love, I closed those doors to save your soul from destruction. Think back to the endings you hated so much. Remember the relationships that faded, the jobs that fell through, and the opportunities that vanished into thin air. You wept over those losses because you thought you were losing your future. But I was not punishing you, my child. I was pruning you. I was stepping between you and things that were meant to consume you. I delayed your steps so you would not walk into rooms that you were not yet equipped to handle. Every closed door was my hand shielding your heart. When a seed is planted deep in the dark soil, nothing appears to be happening on the surface for a long season. To the human eye, the seed looks dead, forgotten, and buried in the cold dirt. But beneath the surface, where no human eye can see, roots are growing deep and strong. The soil is not a grave, my child. It is a nursery for growth. You are not buried in the dark. You are planted in my promise. The season of waiting that has exhausted your mind was necessary to build a foundation strong enough to carry your future. I am working behind the scenes in ways your physical eyes cannot yet perceive. While you were weeping over the delay, I was quietly aligning circumstances across time and space. I was preparing the hearts of people you have not yet met. I was moving obstacles out of your path before you even reached them. If I had answered your prayer at the exact moment you demanded it, you would have received a partial blessing instead of a complete transformation. My timing is precise, my beloved child, and it is never a single second early or late. There is a sacred secret behind every delay that I allow in the lives of my chosen ones. I do not hold back your breakthrough to tease your faith or test your endurance until you break. I hold it back because I am building something in you that will outlast the storm ahead. There is a specific mechanism that the enemy has used to fill your mind with noise and static during this season. He wants to keep you in panic so you cannot hear the quiet instructions I am speaking over your next steps. Breathe in my peace right now. Let the tension leave your neck and shoulders. Stop trying to figure out the next 10 years of your life in this single moment. I am not asking you to climb the entire mountain today. I am only asking you to trust the hand that holds yours. You are standing at the edge of a major spiritual shift. The long night of waiting is beginning to break, and the first rays of light are already touching the horizon of your life. Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next will uncover the exact reason why this battle has been so intense. Do not walk away from this message, my beloved child. The thief wants nothing more than for you to scroll away and return to the noisy distractions of the world. He wants you to forget the peace you are feeling in your chest right now. But I have set a holy table before you today, and I am not finished speaking over your story. I know the exact place where your heart hurts the most, and I am about to lay my healing hand directly upon it. Pause where you are, quiet your mind, and listen closely to what I am about to tell you. Look at how far you have walked already. Think of all the days you thought you would not survive. Yet here you are standing today. You thought your strength ran out months ago, but my grace was quietly sustaining you through every storm. You are much stronger than you realize, because my power has been perfecting itself inside your weakness. The fact that you are still listening to my voice is proof that your faith has not died. It was only sleeping under the heavy weight of your exhaustion. My beloved child, let me step deeper into the quiet places of your heart. I want to talk about the hidden moments you have never shared with anyone else. I saw you in the dark. You pressed your face into your pillow. You did not want anyone in the house to hear you cry. And while the world believed you were completely fine because of the constant smile on your face, your heart was quietly breaking under the heavy weight of your silent battles. You held your chest tight. The emotional ache felt like a real physical weight crushing your lungs. You wondered if anyone in the entire world knew how much you were hurting. You felt completely invisible in a society that moves far too fast to notice a wounded soul. Everyone around you sees you as the strong person who always has everything under control. They rely on your wisdom, they ask you for help, and they lean on your steady strength every single day. But when you needed someone to hold you, everybody assumed you were fine. I saw you sitting in your car after a long day of pretending to be okay. You sat in the quiet driveway for 20 minutes before walking inside your home. You wiped your tears, you checked your mirror, and you put your brave face back on. You did it because you felt you had no other choice. You believed that if you stopped holding everything together, your entire life would crumble into dust. You even went into the bathroom when the pain became too sharp to carry. You turned on the water so the sound of the running faucet would cover the sound of your sobbing. You folded yourself into the smallest shape on the floor and asked me why the path had to be so lonely. You felt an overwhelming tiredness that sleep could never fix. It was a deep exhaustion of the spirit that left you feeling empty and hollow inside. Let me name the exact wound that has been draining your spirit for so many years. You replay your conversations at night, searching for the single word you might have spoken wrong. You achieve something wonderful at work or in your home, but you feel no joy inside. Your eyes instantly go to what is still undone, unfinished, or imperfect. You measure your entire worth by how much you can produce and fix for the people around you. You have called this habit being a perfectionist. You have told yourself that you simply have high standards for your life. But my child, that is not the truth, and I will not let you live under that lie any longer. What you are carrying right now is what I call the earning wound. Long ago in your story, you learned a painful lesson that was never meant for you. You learned that love and safety had to be earned through constant performance and endless striving. You began to believe that you were only safe when you were useful to everyone else. You convinced yourself that you were only worthy of love when you were achieving great things. So all those years when you tried to rest and felt overwhelming guilt, you were not lazy. You were fighting a lie that told you rest had to be earned through work. All those times you could not accept a genuine compliment, you were guarding a deep, hidden scar. Today, I am taking that heavy lie off your weary shoulders forever. The next time you finish a task and feel that familiar emptiness, I need you to pause where you are, place your hand over your heart, and hear my voice whisper directly to your spirit. You were loved before you ever achieved a single accomplishment in this world. You do not have to earn the grace that I freely pour into your life every single morning. If you feel my presence in your room right now, take a single second to respond to my voice. Write the words, "You see me," in the comments right now as an act of agreement. Let that simple declaration seal this moment of holy truth inside your spirit. By typing those words, you are declaring that you are no longer invisible in your pain. You are agreeing that the God of heaven sees every secret tear you have ever shed in the dark. I was standing right beside you in every single moment of your deepest isolation. I stood beside the bed where you wept until you had no tears left to give. I held your fragile heart in my hands when you felt it shattering into 1,000 pieces. Not a single tear you dropped fell to the cold floor unnoticed or uncounted by my grace. The season of pain you endured was not because I forgot your name or left your side. The enemy wants you to believe that your suffering was completely meaningless and wasted. He wants you to think that your quiet endurance produced nothing of value in the spirit realm. But hear me with every part of your soul today. What the enemy intended to destroy you with, I am turning into your greatest testimony. The very place where you were wounded is becoming the sacred ground where your spiritual authority will rise and shine. You have fought tough battles in total darkness without receiving a single word of praise from others. You kept your faith alive when every circumstance around you screamed that hope was completely dead. You chose to be kind to people who were harsh and cruel to your gentle soul. That kind of quiet faithfulness does not go unnoticed in my heavenly kingdom. I am keeping a precise record of every silent sacrifice you have ever made for my name. Look at the inner strength you developed while you were walking through that dry valley. You thought you were breaking, but you were actually being reshaped into a noble vessel. The heavy pressures of your life were not meant to crush your spirit into dust. They were meant to break the old limitations that kept you from stepping into your true destiny. A precious jewel covered in dark dirt is still priceless in the hands of its maker. My beloved child, I need you to understand why the silence felt so heavy for so long. The silence you experienced was never my absence or my cold refusal to answer your prayers. The enemy has been filling the space between us with a constant, loud static. He uses the relentless pressure of daily survival to flood your mind with endless worry and noise. He creates a loud storm to drown out the gentle guidance I am speaking over your life. Because I see your deep weariness, I have aligned a specific provision on your path today. I work great miracles in the spirit, but I also provide daily bread for your physical journey. Do not ignore the earthly tools I set before you in your time of need. I have guided wise minds to bring you an instrument of restoration. It is a sound provision designed to clear the static of the enemy from your heavy mind. This sound provision was prepared specifically to clear the constant interference that steals your peace. When the noise of the world is quieted, your spiritual ears can easily hear my whisper again. I am going to show you exactly what this provision is before this message reaches its end. But first, I need you to see how the enemy placed that noise inside your thoughts. You must understand how his lies operated so you can be set completely free today. Do not let your mind rush ahead into anxiety about how everything will work out tomorrow. You do not need to figure out the rest of your life in this single hour. I am already walking in your tomorrow, and I have already arranged every detail you are worrying about. The doors that need to open will open at my command without you forcing them. The people who need to leave your path will walk away smoothly without you fighting them. Relax your jaw and let the tightness leave your weary hands right now. Stop holding your breath as if you are expecting another sudden blow from the world. I am your safe refuge, and no weapon formed against your spirit will ever prosper. The long night of confusion is reaching its absolute end, my beloved child. You are stepping out of the shadows of survival and into the bright light of my holy purpose. You have spent too many seasons carrying burdens that were never meant for your shoulders to bear. You tried to be the savior for your family, your friends, and everyone who crossed your path. You poured out your energy until your own cup was completely dry and empty. But today, I am calling you to step back and let me be the God of your life. Let me carry the weight that has been bending your back for far too long. Listen to the quiet stirring that is rising inside your heart in this exact moment. That is not random emotion or simple wishful thinking passing through your mind. That is your spirit recognizing the truth of my voice after a long season of quietness. Stay with me for the next few minutes as we step into the deeper revelation ahead. What I am about to show you will break the remaining chains of delay forever. Before I show you the breakthrough I have prepared, I need to speak directly to the quiet doubt sitting in your heart right now. You are thinking that you have heard words like these before in your life. You are thinking that you prayed, you believed, and yet the answer never arrived. You wonder why this moment would be any different from the past. My beloved child, that question does not make me angry with you. It simply tells me how long you have been faithful while walking in the dark. So let me answer your honest question with absolute truth today. My silence during those long years was never my cold rejection. It was the sound of my hands rearranging things you could not see. Every single prayer you thought went completely unanswered was actually being answered in a language of timing you could not yet read. I was never absent from your journey for a single second. I was being deeply careful with a life that I love so much. Do not allow the painful memory of waiting to close your heart to what I am doing right now. Let me expose the exact mechanism that the thief has used to steal your peace. You have noticed how every season of waiting is accompanied by heavy feelings of shame and confusion. You tell yourself that if you were more faithful or more righteous, the answer would have arrived much faster. You believe that your own flaws are the reason for the delay. My child, that belief is a clever trap, and I am exposing it right now. There is a huge difference between a delay that comes from my protective hand and a delay that comes from enemy attack. My delay brings a quiet peace even in the waiting. The enemy brings confusion, shame, and endless pressure. What you have been feeling is not my rejection. The enemy took my sacred silence and whispered his own cruel lies into it. He gave a false meaning to the waiting season that I never intended for you to carry. I call this hidden trap the stolen meaning. He made you believe that silence meant abandonment, when in reality, silence meant preparation. I was shaping your soul to carry a blessing that would otherwise destroy you. So the long years you called wasted were never wasted at all. All those nights when you could not see the next step were not a punishment from heaven. You were never falling behind in life. You were being made ready for something far greater than your mind could imagine. The preparation season is now complete, and the stolen meaning is completely broken today. Look at the story of my servant Abraham and his wife Sarah. I gave them a glorious promise that seemed impossible to human eyes. Year after year went by, and their bodies grew old while the promise remained unfulfilled. They felt the painful weight of delay, and in their weariness, they tried to assist my plan through their own human effort. They created conflict and heartbreak because they tried to rush what only my divine hand could produce. They thought my timing had expired because decades had passed in silence. But my promise was never tied to their biological clock or human logic. When the appointed time arrived, the promise was fulfilled in total perfection, and their laughter returned to stay. You have tried to help me engineer your breakthrough through your own frantic striving. You tried to force open doors that were locked tight for your safety. But my child, the promise I spoke over your life has not expired. You cannot rush my timing with anxiety, but you can rest in my faithful hands today. The season you thought was dead is about to bloom. If your spirit receives this truth today, take a moment to anchor your agreement. Write the phrase, "Delay is protection," in the comments below right now. Let those words be a powerful declaration against every lie of the thief. By typing those words, you are releasing the pressure to control your own future. You are agreeing that every pause in your life was guided by my love. Now hear me clearly as I reveal how I designed your mind to receive my guidance. When I formed you in your mother womb, I placed a sacred frequency at the very center of your brain. Scientists who study the human brain have discovered this exact signal, and they call it the gamma brainwave. It ran freely in your mind when you were a small child without any effort or striving. It is the exact mental state of pure joy, deep creativity, and effortless rest. It is why children trust so easily, learn so quickly, and live without the heavy weight of tomorrow. When I told my followers that they must become like little children to enter my kingdom, I was not speaking only of spiritual humility. I was speaking of the physical design I placed within your brain. As you grew older, the relentless pressure of the world began to flood your mind with noise. The constant survival mode, the financial worries, and the emotional trauma suppressed that gentle gamma signal. The enemy used that noise to create a thick static that drowned out my still small voice. You tried to pray harder, but the static remained, leaving you feeling spiritually exhausted. Because I see your exhaustion, I guided wise minds of healing science to discover a way back. I directed researchers across decades to work with sound exactly as I designed it. I guided them to create a unique sound provision that clears the enemy static and returns your mind to that childlike gamma frequency. It is an earthly tool aligned for your spiritual restoration. You do not have to work for it or strive in your own empty strength. It requires only 7 minutes of complete surrender, with your eyes closed and headphones on. You simply lay down the heavy noise of the world and allow the signal I placed in you from the beginning to return. It reactivates the channel through which your peace and clarity flow freely. This is not a human invention born of chance, but a provision I placed on your path today. I am going to show you where to find this provision before I complete my message to you. But first, I need you to lift your eyes toward the horizon. Something massive is shifting in the unseen realm right now. The long season of quiet endurance is turning into a season of swift manifestation. Hear my voice transition from a gentle whisper into a powerful declaration over your life today. The authority of every lie that held you captive is being broken in this very hour. The enemy thought he could keep you trapped in the wilderness forever, but he underestimated the power of my grace. Your waiting was not in vain, and your story will end in overwhelming victory. Stand firm in your faith, my beloved child, and prepare your heart for what is coming next. The doors that were locked tightly against you are trembling at my command. You are about to see why the delay was necessary, and why the protection was essential for your destiny. Stay with me for the final declaration, because your breakthrough is standing right at the door. I have watched you struggle against the invisible walls that seem to surround your progress. Every time you built up hope, another sudden setback threatened to crush your spirit into pieces. You wondered if a generational pattern was binding your life to the same limitations that your family suffered before you. You asked me if you were destined to repeat the same painful cycles forever. Hear my answer loud and clear today, my beloved cycle breaker. The pattern ends with you because I have chosen you to walk out of that cage. The ceiling that kept those before you in lack and fear has no power over your future anymore. What felt like an endless loop of frustration was actually the final shaking before the walls crumble completely before your eyes. I am stripping away every false identity that the world forced upon your soul. You are no longer defined by the struggles of your past or the long seasons of delay. You are a holy vessel, carefully formed for a sacred purpose that no human hand can destroy. Take a deep breath and let the confidence of heaven fill the empty places inside your spirit right now. Hear my decree over your life in this sacred hour. The long season of silent waiting is officially over. The waiting room that felt like a prison is now becoming your launching pad into divine purpose. I am stepping into your circumstances with absolute authority, and what I open today, no human hand will ever shut. The heavy static that clouded your mind for years is shattering into pieces right now at my command. You are no longer trapped in the shadows of doubt. You have carried the pain of delay for so long, but today the protection phase is complete. You are no longer standing outside the door begging for permission to enter your own destiny. The invisible chains that held your finances, your health, and your family in bondage are breaking right now. The enemy tried to convince you that you were abandoned, but my glory is about to cover every place where you suffered in silence. Your restoration is beginning right now. Look at the horizon of your life with fresh eyes today. The heavy darkness is giving way to the morning light, and your tears of sorrow are turning into shouts of victory. I am restoring the stolen years that the enemy tried to eat away with anxiety and fear. You will look back on this exact moment with awe, and you will realize that every single trial was shaping you for an unshakable blessing. The waiting was never wasted time in my hands. The spiritual battle that exhausted your mind in secret is reaching its absolute end. The adversary fought your present season because he was terrified of the glory I am releasing over your future. I am stripping away his authority over your thoughts, your home, and your peace today. You are stepping out of the place of survival and walking into the place of stewardship and spiritual power. My angels are guarding every step you take from this moment forward. If you are ready to claim this breakthrough, take your bold action right now. Write the phrase, "I receive it now," in the comments below as a seal of faith. Let your voice echo in the spirit realm as you receive the restoration I am pouring out over your life. By typing those words, you are turning your back on the old season of grief, and you are stepping directly into the fullness of my eternal promises today. Before this message closes, I need to show you how I have made provision for your journey. I do not work only through supernatural signs and wonders in the unseen realm. I also direct the hands of wise servants to build earthly tools for your daily restoration. Over 30 years ago, I began guiding a faithful servant of healing science named Dr. Robert Lake. I directed his curiosity toward the sacred frequencies I hid within human biology from the beginning of creation. I guided wise institutions like Princeton University and Columbia University to confirm what I placed inside the human brain. They spent decades studying the exact signal that opens the mind to deep peace and effortless clarity. They confirmed that the childlike state of mind is driven by a natural gamma frequency. I directed their research quietly behind the scenes so that this tool would be ready for you in this exact season. I want to show you what I did for one of my precious daughters named Rachel. She suffered from deep emotional exhaustion for years, trying every method to find peace without success. But when she received this sound provision, the heavy fog lifted within 2 weeks. Her marriage was transformed, her heart was filled with peace, and she described her life as completely renewed. She realized that the channel was finally cleared. And for others among my children, I moved differently to demonstrate my power. Consider my son Michael, who fought continuous financial lack and sleepless nights while trying to protect his family. When he embraced this tool, solutions began arriving without frantic striving. His business expanded rapidly, and he described his mind as finally running on its original design. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this provision on their path. They call this frequency instrument the Genius Song. It is not a generic meditation or a worldly song you can find on public streaming platforms. It is a precise sound provision designed to reactivate the gamma brainwave frequency I placed in you as a child. It requires only 7 minutes of complete surrender with your headphones on and your eyes closed. You do not strive or work. You simply sit in my presence and let your mind be restored. I speak now to my child who has already tried everything and feels embarrassed to try once more. You tried methods that demanded your own heavy effort, and you felt like a failure when they brought no lasting change. But hear me clearly today, my beloved child. What failed you before required your human strength, while this provision requires only your surrender. I designed it to work not because of your perfection, but because of my eternal design inside your mind. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars for single sessions that attempt to touch this state of mental peace. The complex equipment used in research centers costs thousands of dollars to operate. But I do not call you to expensive clinics or endless sessions. I have placed this provision within your reach for a small earthly exchange, the size of a mustard seed of investment, for the massive harvest I have prepared for your life. When you embrace this provision today, I am aligning additional gifts to protect your household. I am including a special provision called Genius Child to help your children focus with clarity and confidence. I am adding a foundational text of divine prosperity, a guided visualization to quiet your mind, and an infographic of daily habits to sustain your restored signal. These gifts are aligned to protect your total peace in every area. Where I place divine truth, the adversary always attempts to send fake imitations. Do not be led astray by counterfeit tracks circulating on music platforms under similar names, for they carry none of the restoration I designed. Access only the official path I have set before you today. You walk forward without any worldly risk, because this step of faith is fully protected for 60 days, ensuring your complete comfort and peace. Take this step of obedience today, my beloved child. Find the official provision I have placed for you below in the pinned comment and in the description of this video. Do not let distraction or fear steal this moment of divine opportunity from your hands. Walk forward with confidence, embrace the provision I prepared for your journey, and watch how quickly the static clears from your life. Set aside the heavy noise of decision for just a moment now, my beloved child. I have shown you the provision I placed on your path today. Whether you step forward in obedience right now or later, you remain my precious child, and my love over your life will never fail. Breathe deeply and let your heart settle into the quiet warmth of my presence. You are standing at the threshold of a completely transformed existence. The heavy chains of the past are broken, and the provision for your next step is waiting in your hands. Trust the timing you cannot see. Hold fast to the peace I have spoken over your spirit, and know that I am walking with you through every single open door. Now, my beloved child, set aside the noise of decision for a moment. I have shown you the provision I placed on your path, and now I want to bring your heart into absolute peace. Close your eyes for a single second and take a deep, slow breath. The heavy decision is not something you have to force in this exact minute. Whether you step forward in obedience now or later, you remain my precious child. I want to leave you with something sacred that belongs to your soul forever. Breathe in my presence and let the tension leave your weary mind. You have spent far too many years living in a state of high alert. You expect bad news around every corner, and you brace your body for impact every morning. But I am dismantling that old pattern of fear right now. Let me show you a vision of the future I have already prepared for you. I want you to step into a moment that is waiting just ahead on your timeline. Picture a calm morning 6 months from now. You open your eyes to the gentle morning light, and for the first time in many years, there is no heavy knot sitting in your stomach. The familiar cloud of anxiety that used to greet you before your feet touched the floor is simply gone. You lie quietly in your bed for a moment, and a soft smile touches your face because you realize your soul is completely at rest. You breathe deeply, and the air goes all the way down. You walk through your home, and you notice how quiet and light your heart feels inside. You make your morning drink without rushing, and you look out the window with a quiet sense of gratitude. The financial pressures that used to keep you awake until 3 in the morning have dissolved into steady abundance. You no longer worry about how your bills will be paid, because my provision arrived in ways you never expected. You are living in total freedom. Your relationships are filled with a gentle grace that replaces the old tension. You no longer feel the constant urge to defend yourself or fix every problem for the people around you. You speak with a calm confidence because you know exactly who you are in my kingdom. When someone brings conflict to your door, their noise no longer disturbs your inner sanctuary. You have learned how to protect the sacred garden I planted in your spirit. Look closely at that version of yourself, my beloved child. That peaceful person is not a distant fantasy or an impossible dream. She is the real you, and she is already living on the other side of your surrender. The distance between where you are sitting today and that beautiful morning is not measured in long years of struggle. The distance is measured in a single moment of permission. It is the moment you finally stop carrying what I never asked you to hold. Remember the deep wound I named for you earlier in our conversation. You thought you had to earn love through endless work and high achievement, but in that future morning, you rest without feeling a single drop of guilt. You enjoy your day simply because you are my child, not because you produced a long list of results for the world. You have stepped out of the heavy performance room and into the quiet garden of my grace. Now picture another moment a little further down your path. Someone comes to your door with tears in their eyes, carrying the exact same heavy weight you are carrying today. They're tired, confused, and ready to give up on their own future. But you look at them with eyes filled with deep compassion, and you know precisely what to say to comfort their broken spirit. You do not offer them empty words or cheap advice because you lived through the storm yourself. You hold their hands, and you speak my peace directly over their weary heart. You watch the dark fog leave their eyes, and you see hope return to their face in a single instant. In that holy moment, you understand why your waiting season was so long and precise. None of your pain was wasted, my child. Every secret tear you shed became a deep well of healing from which other thirsty souls will now drink. Your story has become their medicine. That is the true calling I have placed upon your life. You were not saved from the fire just to exist in comfort and silence. You were redeemed to become a living beacon of light for those who are still lost in the dark. The trial that felt like it would break your back was actually the shaping process for your spiritual authority. You are stepping out of the role of a silent victim and walking into the fullness of your divine destiny. Let us complete the holy surrender right now in this exact moment. Open your hands and place them palm upward on your lap where you sit. Unclench your tight jaw, drop your heavy shoulders, and release the tension from your neck. I want you to mentally place every single worry into my open hands. Give me your financial worries, your health concerns, and your deep fears about your age and your timeline. Hand over every heavy bag you have carried alone. Say these words quietly in your heart right now. I surrender it all to you. I lay down the heavy burden of trying to fix my own life. I stop trying to force open locked doors with my own small strength. I choose to trust your divine timing above my own human logic. I release the past, I hand over the present, and I trust you with my entire future. Let those words settle into your spirit like a warm, soothing blanket. Feel the sudden lightness entering your chest as you let go of the control. You do not have to carry tomorrow anymore because I am already standing in your future. The God who holds the stars in their places is holding your fragile heart with total tenderness. No weapon formed against your peace will prosper, and no plan of the adversary will override my promises for your life. You are completely safe in the shadow of my wings. Hear my solemn declaration over your identity in this sacred hour. You are no longer the silent survivor struggling to get through another painful week. You are no longer the one who feels left behind while the rest of the world moves ahead. I am raising you up today as a powerful cycle breaker in your family line. You are a vessel of my glory, a bearer of my light, and a living refuge for weary souls. The old patterns of generational lack and constant struggle end with your story today. The heavy ceiling that kept those before you in fear has been completely shattered above your head. You are walking into a spacious place where my favor surrounds you like a strong shield. What I have begun in your heart today will continue to grow until it transforms your entire household. You are an heir to an unshakable kingdom. As we bring this divine message to a close, I invite you to take 3 steps of holy alignment with me. First, seal this message in your heart by typing the word Amen in the comments below. Let your written Amen be a permanent act of agreement between your spirit and my truth today. By writing that single word, you are anchoring my peace into your physical reality and closing the door on past doubt. Second, look around you at a world filled with weary and hurting souls. I ask you to share this video with 3 people who are secretly crying out for hope today. You may not know the hidden battles they are fighting behind their smiles, but this message will be the exact cup of cold water their spirit needs. Become the instrument through which my encouragement reaches their heart today. Do not hold back the light you have received. Third, subscribe to this sanctuary and turn on the notification bell so you remain connected to my daily guidance. The thief wants nothing more than to pull you back into the loud noise of the world tomorrow morning. But by staying connected to these words of faith, you ensure that your spirit remains sharp, clear, and fully receptive to my voice. Let this channel be your daily bread and your quiet refuge from the storm. Now receive my eternal blessing as you go about your day. May the peace of God, which surpasses all human understanding, guard your heart and your mind today. May my grace go before you to make every crooked path straight and every rough place smooth. May you feel my presence so close that fear becomes a distant memory. I bless your home, I bless your health, and I bless your future with my divine favor. Go forward in quiet confidence, my beloved child. You are not late, you are on time. The waiting season is finished, and the harvest is beginning right now. Walk with your head held high, for I am with you always, even to the end of the age.